This is Assessment 1, Short-Term Planning for Teaching and Learning in the Senior Years for the Unit EDSE 14002, Senior Years Learning and Teaching. Lesson 1 focuses on numeracy strategies, exploring how geography and numeracy intertwine to provide real-world relevance. Lesson 2 focuses on pedagogical content knowledge, unraveling how teachers' understanding of subject matter informs our teaching decisions. Lesson 3 explores the use of questioning techniques, fostering higher order thinking among students. Lesson 4 introduces the integration of information and communication technologies to enhance learning opportunities, preparing us for the digital age classroom. As we progress, I'll reflect on my response to feedback, showcasing my commitment to continuous improvement. Then I'll be bridging theory with practice through a teacher demonstration. And I will culminate with justifying the pedagogy and resource decisions I've made in the construction of my exemplar lesson plans. The focus of my unit planning is on Year 11 Geography 2025 version 1 from the General Senior Syllabus for Queensland. In Queensland, a syllabus for senior subject is an official map of a senior school subject. A syllabus's function is to support schools in delivering the Queensland Certificate of Education QCE system through high quality and high equity curriculum and assessment. Lesson 1 focuses on numeracy strategies. Geography and numeracy skills form a symbiotic partnership where each reinforces and enhances the other. The real-world context presented by geographical setting lends significance and authenticity to numeracy skills. Through acquiring, processing, and communicating geographical information, students not only deepen their understanding of geography, but also develop essential numeracy skills. Research by Dominelli and Martin in 2018 highlights the explicit connections between the acquisition of geographical knowledge and the development of numeracy skills, underscoring the integrated nature of these two disciplines. My numeracy focus in this lesson is that of creating pie charts, calculating percentages, creating dual bar graphs, and creating a combination graph using Excel. These tasks directly correspond to the geographical skills that students should be able to demonstrate at the end of the course of study, which according to the syllabus are mathematics number operations, which is calculate and interpret percentages, mathematics graphs, which is select, construct, and/or interpret various types of simple and complex graphs. Mathematics types of data, which is assess available data that facilitates data use and manipulation. In summary, the numeracy skills practiced in this lesson pack are a powerful punch, directly sharpening the geographical expertise students need to interpret percentages, construct diverse graphs, and expertly manipulate available data. A potent combination for the journey in mastering geographic patterns and analyzing hazard zones. Lesson 2, Pedagogical Content Knowledge. The lesson focuses on two different pedagogies that relate to geography. The first being gradual release of responsibility, sometimes referred to as I do, we do, you do, and the second one is inquiry. Task 1 utilizes the gradual release of responsibility approach, which serves as a scaffolding a scaffold guiding students through the process of understanding abstract concepts. As students gain confidence, the responsibility gradually shifts to them, encouraging independent thinking and interpretation, which is crucial in hypothesizing. Task 2 involves using the inquiry method, which through this method students are encouraged to actively investigate, question, and explore topics. This approach allows students to connect new information to their existing knowledge base, creating meaningful associations and fostering a comprehensive understanding of the topic. The third lesson focuses on higher order thinking questions. The higher order thinking questioning lesson employs a teacher-led introduction to the topic, followed by a reading segment, and culminates in a questioning session designed to stimulate student higher order thinking skills. The structured progression of the lesson from introduction to reading and questioning ensures a comprehensive approach to fostering students' critical thinking abilities and deepening their understanding of the subject matter. By engaging students in active dialogue and encourage them to critically analyze and synthesize information, this lesson cultivates a classroom environment where high order thinking is nurtured and valued. Lesson 4 ICTs. This lesson is an inquiry into natural hazards. Students deepen their understanding of geographical processes and hazard zones through inquiry-based learning. Building upon prior knowledge, students investigate various hazards, analyzing global and regional spatial patterns, identifying threats, vulnerabilities, and climate change impacts, and exploring appropriate responses. Students conduct individual or group inquiries utilizing digital resources to gather information and employing the PQE method to analyze spatial patterns. The culmination of the lesson sees students present their findings through visual engaging digital posters, demonstrating their comprehension and communication of geographical challenges and responses to hazard zones. The feedback highlights the need for clearer and more precise elements within the draft lesson plan, particularly regarding the lesson focus, evidence of learning, and time mapping and organization. My action in response to feedback will be for lesson focus to address the comment about too much detail in the lesson focus. I'll provide a brief but clear description of the specific aspect of the topic from the syllabus that the lesson will focus on. This will help both the teacher and students understand the main objective of the lesson more easily. Evidence of learning. I'll be more specific in defining what the evidence of learning will entail, whether it's a data table, written description, explanation, or completion of a graphic organizer. I'll ensure that it's clearly stated in the lesson plan so that students and teachers know exactly what is expected of them during the lesson. Time mapping and organization. To improve readability, I will map out the time for each activity within the lesson plan, chunking them with clear headings. This will make it easier for both teachers and students to follow the flow of the lesson and manage their time effectively. So this lesson plan is covering PCK, so pedagogical content knowledge. Just going to try to show a few different ways around using different pedagogy to get students engaged in the lesson. So we've been going through natural hazards over the last few weeks. So everyone pretty much knows everything about natural hazards, their severity, we've gone through the factors, but today's lesson is about sort of putting that into practice and looking at Bundaberg region and looking at Australia. So we're going to look at some different natural hazards that occurred in Australia and we're going to see how the factors affected them and
created different levels of severity. So our lesson objectives for the day are to understand and recognise the severity of natural hazards, and also describe and explain the factors that relate to identifying the severity of natural hazards. So task 1, we've got 2 tasks to do today. So we're going to give ratings to natural disasters if they would affect our local area of Bundaberg. So that task, we're going to work in groups. I'll go through the first one for you, that way we know what we're doing. And then as a group, as a class, we'll go through the second one, that makes sure that everyone's understanding what the actual task is. And then everyone can go through as a group and work on the rest of it. Task 2 is going to be an inquiry into the natural disasters that have happened in Australia. So we're looking at previous natural disasters, and we're going to describe and explain the severity factors. We all remember the severity factors, don't we? So speed of onset, how quickly something happens. Magnitude, how powerful something is. Frequency, how often it occurs. Duration, how long it goes for. And the sequencing or seasonality, is there a sequence which makes it occur? Do they happen at certain times of the year? So these 5 different factors is what this lesson's all about. As you can see here, we've got the type of hazards, speed of onset, magnitude, frequency, duration, and I've changed this one to predictable and unpredictable so we can actually score it. So you're going to have to look at the sequencing and seasonality and see if it's predictable or see if it's unpredictable. And then we're going to rate it in a total, and we're going to see what is going to be pretty much the worst type of hazard to happen in Bundaberg. Now, second part, I've got all these different natural hazards that have occurred. So once we go through the first task, I'll get these back up on the board, and each group will select one of these natural hazards and go through that, and we're going to research and we're going to look at how the speed of onset affected that natural hazard. What was its magnitude? How frequent are they in that region? Was it a long natural hazard? Was it short? Was there something before it that created that to happen? And are they seasonal? So we'll look through that in the second task. And the first task we will start off with, I'll show you volcanoes. So how we're going to do this, we're going to rate this from 1 to 10. So if it's fast, it's 10. If it's powerful, it's 10. If it's frequent, it's 10. If it goes for a long time, it's 10. And if it's unpredictable, it's a 10 because it's going to be more dangerous, isn't it, if it's unpredictable. So remember, we're looking at the Bundaberg region. So volcanoes in the Bundaberg region. So we have the Hummock, which is an old volcano, hasn't gone off for 10 or 20 million years. But if it does go off, it's going to go off very, very, very quickly. So I'll rate that one at 10. It's going to be quick and it's going to be powerful. There's the magnitude. 10. That's going to be very powerful. Frequency of volcanoes, 10 or 20 million years ago. So that's going to be a 1. They're not frequent, are they? We don't really have many volcanoes, if any. Duration, how long will that volcano go for? Is it going to go for a long time? Short time? I would probably rate it somewhere along the lines of 3. It's going to be big and it's going to blast and it's going to be over fairly quickly, but it's going to be very destructive and very quick. Is it predictable or unpredictable? So I think it would be pretty much in the middle. We don't know that it's really going to occur, but we know that there's going to be a chance of it beforehand. There's going to be some seismic activity. There's going to be some signs that it's going to happen, but we probably don't think it's going to go bang. So 2029. Right, so now as a group we go through and we do earthquakes. So speed of onset of an earthquake. Thank you, I would agree it'd be very quick. Magnitude of earthquakes in Bundaberg would be yes, they're not very powerful in this region, pretty much because of our location. I'd probably rate it a 3. Frequency, 1. We don't really get them, we get little ones occasionally, or not really anything. Duration, 1. Are they predictable or unpredictable? I would say they would be very unpredictable. 25. Yeah. So you see how our scoring's rating? Volcanoes, our total. We think volcanoes, if it does occur, is going to be a little bit more dangerous than an earthquake. So if we go through the rest of that sheet, I go the right way. We have tsunamis, landslides, erosion, desertification, beach erosion, cyclone, tornado, drought, floods, flash floods, dam failure, heat waves, bushfires, sea level rise, insect infestations, toxic algae bloom, disease outbreak, asteroid impact, solar flare. Now if you notice there's a spare spot under each category. So if we want to find a geological hazard of our own and put it in there and give it ratings as well, please. Okay, thank you.
My feedback for my teacher demonstration video was fairly positive. The one thing that Amanda did point out was that I would have been more beneficial if I identified the purpose of the lesson, um, which is something that I also noticed that I didn't do in my actual lesson plan. So I've gone through and I've made sure I've made them smaller, more precise, so I can actually explain them to the students and that it's easier for everyone to understand. For my first lesson plan, which focused on numeracy, so to justify the pedagogy and resource decisions made in constructing this example lesson plan, various scholarly sources were consulted to ensure alignment with best practice in education. Firstly, the use of GNAG lesson planning principles was informed by Pollock, Hensley, and Talone 2019, which emphasizes shifting the focus from teacher-led to student-centered learning, promoting self-regulation and improving student performance. This approach guides intentional planning for students to utilize high-yield strategies, enhancing their engagement and learning outcomes. Furthermore, the integration of geography and numeracy skills was supported by Donnelly and Martin 2018, who emphasized the symbiotic partnership between these disciplines. This informed the selection of activities such as creating pie charts and dual bar graphs, leveraging geographical content to reinforce numerical skills authenticity. Additionally, Friel 2021 highlighted the importance of incorporating mathematics into geography education, validating the decision to emphasize numeracy skills within the lesson. My second lesson plan focused on pedagogical content knowledge. The utilization of gradual release of responsibility model, as described by Fisher and Frey 2013, was pivotal in guiding the instructional design. By gradually shifting control from teacher to learner, this approach facilitates a smooth transition in comprehension instruction, fostering student autonomy and deep understanding. The flexibility of the gradual release of responsibility model was further emphasized by Grant et al. In 2012, highlighting its suitability for inquiry-based instruction, a methodology endorsed by Meagher 2019 for its potential to enhance learning outcomes in geographic education. Additionally, the incorporation of visual aids, as advocated by Shirabayani in 2015, was integrated into the lesson plan to enhance engagement and facilitate comprehension. Visual representations such as PowerPoint slides and worksheets provide learners with tangible and accessible resources to grasp complex concepts effectively. Furthermore, the choice of topics and activities were guided by the need to address the complexity of natural hazards comprehensively. By focusing on hypothesizing the severity of natural hazards and investigating major disasters within Australia, students are encouraged to apply critical thinking skills and engage deeply with the subject matter, aligning with curriculum objectives and promoting geographical communication, as outlined by Meagher in 2019. Lesson 3 focused on higher order thinking questions. Higher order thinking questions, utilization of careful and intentional questioning, as emphasized by Ong, Hart, and Chen 2016, is pivotal in guiding instructional design. By employing higher order thinking questions, I can encourage students' participation, foster discussions, and promote a constructivist learning environment. The incorporation of hot questions not only stimulates critical thinking, but also shifts discourse practice from reciting to discussions, as highlighted by Ong, Hart, and Chen, 2016. Furthermore, the choice of topics and resources was aligned with curriculum objectives and aimed to deepen students' understanding of the effect of climate change on natural hazards. By focusing on the relationship between climate change and the severity of natural hazards, students are encouraged to analyze data, draw connections, and articulate their understanding as outlined by curriculum objectives. The selection of resources, such as brochures and readings from reputable sources, provided students with credible information to support their learning. By engaging with authentic materials, students are exposed to real-world examples and can apply their knowledge to analyze case studies effectively. Moreover, the lesson structure, including the introduction, questioning, and conclusion, were designed to scaffold students' learning and ensure comprehension. The use of a variety of questioning techniques, including factual recall, interpretation, and evaluation, allowed for a comprehensive exploration of the topic and catered to diverse learning needs, as recommended by best practices in curriculum planning. The fourth lesson plan focuses on information and communication technologies. The integration of information and communication technologies into the lesson plan, as highlighted by Henderson, 2020, is pivotal in enhancing teaching and learning effectiveness. By leveraging ICT tools, students are provided with greater access to information and data, as emphasized by Kovacic and Rosdi, 2015. This aligns with curriculum objectives aimed at comprehending geographical patterns and analyzing threat and vulnerability data. The use of digital devices for exploration and gathering information allows students to engage actively in inquiry processes, fostering independent thinking and creativity, as noted by Henderson, 2020. Furthermore, the requirement for the project to be presented in digital form facilitated the development of ICT skills essential for students' future success in an increasingly technological world. The lesson structure, including the introduction, task, and conclusion, was designed to scaffold students' learning effectively. By beginning with a recap of the previous lesson on graphing, students were provided with a seamless transition into the current topic while reinforcing prior knowledge. The clear articulation of lesson objectives ensured that students understood the purpose and expectations of the inquiry process. The task itself, which involved conducting an investigation into a natural hazard of choice, allowed for student autonomy and personalized learning experiences. This inquiry-based approach encourages critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration as students delve into the complexities of their selected hazard, as recommended by best practices in curriculum planning. Thank you.